Okay, so welcome back to the next part of your bar chords lesson. This is actually going to be split into 3 separate lessons rather than 2. Reason for that being is I realise there's quite a lot of chord shapes that I would like to cover here. So this lesson is going to be focusing on getting the major and minor shapes on both your E and A string. Now you might already know your E major, E minor, A major, A minor. If you do, that's great. It'll give you a great head start. We're just going to switch the fingering up for this. So when we're just playing them as standard open chords, we're happy to use this first finger, but we need to free up this first finger to be able to put the bar in. So if we're playing an F major, for example, we can get our first finger in there, bar the first fret, and make that an F major. So we're going to do this as a little bit of a quick fire type thing. I'm going to write these on the whiteboard so you can see the shape. I'm then going to explain the shape, and you're going to play it, have a little go at trying it on different parts of the neck, and then we'll move on to the next shape. So let's get on with this. Okay, so here is your E major shape. Slightly different to the way we finger it when we're just doing a standard open E chord. When we're doing a standard open E chord, we've got our first finger on the first fret of the G, and then we've got our third finger on the second fret of the D, and our second finger on the second fret of the A. But with this, like I said, we're trying to free up that first finger. So, while holding the shape here, I want you to put your second finger on the second fret of the G string, your fourth finger on the second fret of the D string, and then your third finger on the second fret of the A string. There's the shape, should have that there now, and then should sound like this, and as you can see, you've got your first finger freed up. So there's E major. Now with that shape now, rooted from our E string, meaning our bar being across all the way to our low E string, we can get any major chord. By keeping this shape, and just slide that up 1 fret, all the fingers, keep them as a group. Press your first finger down on the first fret of all the strings there. And you get your root note and know what chord it is by knowing your notes on your E string. So if you practice what we've just practiced there, you'll know that obviously open is an E major. If you bar the first fret and leave your E major shape in, it's now, what note is that on the first fret of your E string? It's an F major. Second fret of your E string is F sharp, so that would be F sharp major. Third fret is a G, that would be G major. Fourth fret is a G sharp, so that would be G sharp major. Fifth fret of your E string is an A, so you've now got an A major. You'll see nothing's changed, I'm just sliding that up 1 fret. There's A sharp major, B major, C major, C sharp major, slipped off the back there, D major, D sharp major, and then once we've reached that 12th fret, we're back at E. There's E major. If we went up another one, we'd be back at another F major, F sharp major, G major until your fingers get too fat like mine. I think I can go as far as G sharp major and it starts getting a bit ropey. But you don't tend to use full bar chord shapes up there anyway, you do a half one. So there is the major chord. So nice and easy, that means you can get any major chords you want just using that one shape. Right, let's move on to minor now. Okay, so you'll notice not that much has changed. With the minor, all we have done is we've taken our second finger off there. So using exactly the same shape, there's your E major that we had last time with your first finger freed up. All I want you to do now is lift that second finger off, and then we've got every standard minor chord rooted from your E string. So there's E minor, F minor, F sharp minor, G minor, G sharp minor, A minor, A sharp minor, B minor, C minor, C sharp minor, D minor, D sharp minor, E minor. Then we could go up to a higher octave of F and so on. Like I said, that musical alphabet cycle just repeats as soon as you hit that 12th fret. Right, so let's move on to chords rooted from our A string now. So all that's going to change is instead of barring all the way up to our E string, meaning all of our first finger across all the strings, our first finger is going to be across 5 strings. So from A to E, and you're just going to miss out that low E string. And we're going to apply our major and minor shapes rooted from our A string in there now. And then it'll just allow you, let's just say for example, you were playing an F sharp major and you wanted a B minor. Yes, you could go all the way to 7th fret of your E, but right underneath, on the same fret on the A string, you've got a B. So if you put it there, so look how much less movement F sharp major to B minor is. I'll do it all rooted on the E, and then I'll do rooted on the A. And this is why it's important to have a knowledge of both, because you can find shortcuts around the neck. So here is F sharp major to B minor. I'll do it twice and you'll see how much quicker it is the second time. Second time. See, I barely had to move. So let's get into our A shapes now. So this right here is an A major chord. Normally, the D string would be your first finger, the G string would be second finger, and your B string would be a third. You'll see we basically just shift the rolls up a finger, so our first finger comes free, and we've got these fingers here doing all the work. So follow this along now. You'll see there's an X on the low E string, meaning that we don't play that string. So we've got an open E, you've got your pinky on the 2nd fret of the B, your third finger on the 2nd fret of the G, and your first and your second finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. So you'll see I've got this here now. So you'll see we're getting our root from our A now. So open A is obviously A. So if we've got this shape with an open A, it's obviously an A. Move that along 1 fret, move it up 1 fret, put your bar in. Now this is the hardest bar chord to do, this one. You'll see my finger, I'm basically using this side of my finger here, letting it go on a bit of an angle. And thumb's doing that same thing we talked about last week on the back of the neck. It says A sharp major, shift that all up 1 fret, it's B major, C major, C sharp major, D major, D sharp major, E major, F major, F sharp major, G major, G sharp major, and then finally back to A major. So there is the major chord. No prize for guessing what we're going to do next. We're going to look at the minor chord rooted from our E string. Sorry, A string. Okay, so if you've been concentrating, you'll notice that this shape is exactly the same as your E major shape we looked at. Exactly same fingers on exactly the same frets. There's our E major shape. All that's going to happen is we're going to move each finger up a string. Now remember, up is down and down is up in the guitar because we're going up to the higher strings. So you'll see on that chart there as well, each finger's moved up a string. And that is your minor shape, which makes it lovely for when you're going between majors and minors rooted from the E to the A string. So we could do C major to chord 3 of C major, which is E minor right there. You don't even need to change shape. So looks like I'm hardly moving my fingers, getting 2 completely different chord shapes. As opposed to if you were doing it here, there's a massive change. With your open chords. Right, so let's get into doing this minor shape. So actually what I want you to do, because you're going to be doing a lot of this as you start going through chord progressions using these bar chords, let's start with that E major, the first one we did. And all I want you to do is move each finger up a string. So up is down and down is up, remember? So your second finger should end up on the 1st fret of the B string, your pinky should end up on the 2nd fret of the G, and your third finger should end up on the 2nd fret of the D string. And there is A minor. Now once again, as we move up and put the bar in, whatever notes you have on the A string tells you what chord it is, which minor chord. So it's A minor, got A sharp minor, B minor, C minor, C sharp minor, D minor, D sharp minor, E minor, F minor, F sharp minor, G minor, G sharp minor, and back to A minor. Okay, so there is the major and minor chords rooted from your E and A string. Next week we're going to look at sevens, dominant 7 chords, which is your bluesy sounding chords. We're going to look at our major 7s and our minor 7s. So I will see you in the third and final installment of these 120 plus chords in 3 weeks now. I'll change that title to 3 weeks. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I will see you in the next one.